I talked to a friend of mine recently, and she told me she was fired. I was totally flabbergasted by that news because, you know, my friend, let's call her Beth, she is not the kind of person you want to fire. She's punctual, adept at her job, passionate about everything she does. So I tried to ask her kindly about what happened, but she burst out in tears. Let me tell you why. Her former student, an eighth grader, let's call her Aisha, came to school one day completely different from what she used to be like. Beth started noticing that something was off in her behavior, but she didn't know what exactly. So she started to look into it, to ask questions. She asked multiple times, but there was no response. The girl would simply nod negatively and run away home. 2.5 months went by until one day Aisha came to school and she couldn't write. She couldn't physically write. She couldn't hold a pen in her hand because her hands were shaking so badly that the desk was wobbling together with it. That moment, Beth knew something was absolutely off. Something was bad. So she decided to take that girl to a cafe after school and insist she speak. 3 hours of silence were finally broken. So was Beth's heart. A 14-year-old girl, Aisha, was constantly raped by her own uncle who lived nearby. And no one knew about that story except for Aisha, her uncle, and now her teacher. Beth considered it her duty to report the case to the school board. She ran to the school that day and did so immediately. But things turned upside down. Neither the school nor Aisha's family reacted. They didn't want to hear what Beth had to say. Aisha's mom wasn't willing to tell this news to anyone, not even her husband. She said, "I wouldn't foul my own nest. I wouldn't bring Oyat on my family, on my own daughter. Why would I do that? I'd figure something out without telling anyone," she decided. The school reacted not much differently. They decided that burying the story and firing the teacher would help and protect their student. Aisha's story was silenced. The end brought by silence and shame. Oyat. Two S's that are scarier than the death itself. These two things are deeply perpetuated in Kazakh culture. Oyat and shame are everywhere. These two things, they push families to sell their property and take out loans to celebrate their child's wedding. These things, they make wives disguise bruises on their bodies because it's always the wife and rarely the husband. They make students choose majors that they don't enjoy and not pursue their dreams simply because they chose something that is not normal. And of course, Oyat. So if these two things are so bad, why are they still with us? Why can we not let go of them? Well, let's firstly define them. Let's define what they are. And then let's break down why they persist. Oyat, or shame, is a concept used to push people into conforming to major dominant social norms. On top of it, there is always silence. Oyat and silence, they go hand in hand because anything that is Oyat is non-negotiable. We don't talk about it. Silence is considered bearing your difficulties of life and seeming strong. Silence is considered a norm. It's almost an act of dignity in our society, even though it's you who is torn apart. So let's take a look and see why these things are still here with us. Why? Why can we not let go of them? Is it something structural? Is it because we cannot change our government or our mentality? Or is it something else? actually the problem is not so complicated as you think. It's not our weird Kazakh oyat thing that is ingrained in our culture. I mean, not entirely, of course. And it's not this huge gap between the old and the new generation. It's not that. Nothing at all. It's simply our choice to not solve the problem. It's easier to silence the problem, right? Rather than go and solve it. It's easier to manipulate someone by using uyat and push them into doing something they don't want, rather than soaking that problem in and trying to do something about it. That's why this issue is still here. That's why we're not fighting it anyhow. And you might think that the solution to this problem must also be very complicated, right? It might take us years to change the legal system or to alter our mentality, and even more time to let go of those old-fashioned cultural norms. But in fact, the solution is really simple, and it's in your voice. Your voice is all that you need. We all should speak up about our problems. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said during the civil rights movement that at the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And this is something we witness every day. This is something we see in some sort of discrimination, harassment, even rape. We see this every day because we're so concerned about other people's opinions. We're so worried about doing something uyat, so paying so much attention to what others say. In doing that, we forget to listen to what they don't say. We forget to listen to their silence. We don't notice silence. And to solve the issue, we must look into our own voice. Say things. Say them out loud. And if you think that it's not something that is culturally native to us, you're wrong. There is an old saying, an old Kazakh saying that goes, "Жыламаған балаға емшек жоқ." A baby that doesn't cry doesn't get the mother's breast. This old saying, just take a look at it, listen to it. It urges us to scream, to shout, to demand things we want and need. So why not do it? A story like Aisha's deserves a voice. It deserves a loud roar echoing in the air, making that girl receive the justice she deserves and making the guy who committed the crime pay for what he did. Your voice is important. Your voice is our country's independence. It's our language. It's solidarity with every Me Too woman. It's justice for Tamiris Baysafa after 13 years. Your voice is important. So is mine. So I, today, choose to trade silence and uyat for my voice. The voice I will use to break this not ending status quo of silence and shame. I will use this voice to help people. I will knock on the door and ring the bell to be heard. I will give my hand to help others, and I will raise it to break the silence. Let's break the silence together. Let's raise our hands and make our voices loud. Thank you.